Next, we have a chapter featuring the Guidebook. This contains all the descriptions of the universal character building blocks, that is, special skills, powers, along with additional tips and explanations. It starts with the origin guide. When you create a character, you can choose between 4 supernatural origins, like you have heard throughout this review, and of course each one comes with its own set of superpowers and a unique way to replenish the shard pool. So you have the Defiant Angels, that have an angelic calling. You basically have 2 callings, the noble one and the dark one. It's like 2 sides of the same coin. One of them comes from your bloodline, and these callings count as traits in your angelic form. However, only one of them is available at a time. You need to spend a shard to switch between forms. So you have the noble form that produces wings when you are fighting or protecting someone. Now when it comes to your dark form, you can fly majestically and you carry an additional person, that is, you become stronger as an angel. You also have a dark alluring aura, and it counts as a trait. You also have the Defiant Deva, and you've got a group of devout mortal worshippers. Being their deity counts as an exceptional trait towards them, and the social challenges against them are never impossible. You can spend a shard to shift into an animal of one of your selected species. It must be typical for your bloodline. You can also make social challenges with that species as if they were human. You also have to choose a type of nourishment or an emotion that nourishes you. It could be raw meat, it could be blood. You also have the Defiant Infernals, with information on your true name that only a handful of people know. And you have your Grimcraft, as mentioned earlier. You used to punish your victims, so you are a master of torture. You can use a question which is, how can I make them feel through pain or through despair or through anguish, anything that you wish. And you also have information, of course, on your hellish scars. You can spend a shard to show off these markings that are supernaturally terrifying to behold. You also have information on the Defiant Leviathans. With an elemental blessing, you are immune to your attuned element. So if you are attuned to metals, or to storms, or to fires, you are immune to that sort of substance. So your enemies would need to rely on some other thing to harm you. For example, if you are attuned to storms, perhaps only fire or physical attacks would harm you, nothing related to lightning or water. Or if you are related to metals, they are going to need wooden weapons or stone weapons to attack you. You also have information on draconic features. You possess 2 draconic features, the Royal Horns, and the second one would be of your own choosing. So you could have scales or fangs or claws. Then you have an Origin exclusive personal theme guide, because there are 8 Origin exclusive personal themes. So for example, as an angel, you could be an ardent, you could be the pure. If you are a Deva, you could be divinity itself, or you could have the thirst. If you are an infernal, you could be the executioner, or you could be the fate dealer. If you are a Leviathan, you could be primordial, or you could be the siren. Outside of that category, you also have the personal themes presented in a personal theme guide. They are basically the main building blocks of your character. You could be the Aegis. Through supernatural powers, you are close to being invulnerable. You could be the Ars Amandi. You are an unsurpassed master in the art of lovemaking. You could be the Gem. Your allure is exceptional even by the standards of the Defiant. You could be the Goliath. Your might is unsurpassed, and nothing can withstand your crushing blows. You could be the Guide. You are a guide, a teacher, a trainer, a role model. You show others the way, and they follow. You could be the Power Play. You are enthralled by the game of domination and submission. You could also be the Prodigy. Your mentor has chosen you and elevated you to power. They still support you, but also make demands. You could be the Shadow. Everybody has secrets. You are an expert at learning and using them for your benefit. You could be the Socialite. You live for ostentatious balls, private parties, and thrive in social situations. You could be the Warrior. You have the soul of a warrior and a matching set of skills. You could have the Wealth. You have unlimited resources on hand, and you can easily have anything money can buy. You could be the weaver, weaving plots and schemes into existence. This is your true passion. You also have a house guide, that is, a more detailed description of the 12 great houses. You have details on House Aratron, the Angels of Mercy, House Hariel, the Angels of Passion. You have House Zeruel, the Angels of Glory. You have House Acto, the Aslan Deva. You have House Kyrios, the Hellenic Deva. You have House Seg, the Hemetian Deva. You have House Black, the Infernals of Pain. House Dawn, the Infernals of Shame. House Joy, the Infernals of Guilt. There's House Hadad, the Storm Leviathans. House Melkart, the Earth Leviathans. House Shemesh, the Fire Leviathans. All of these guides contain example male names and female names, their creed, and a summary of their role, as well as customs and specific features. Then you have a marital guide. This has to do with your assigned husband or wife. You could be best friends with your mate, maybe your spouse is an eager admirer, or maybe it's an influential lover, or perhaps the perfect companion. Maybe it's a political union. Maybe there's a power struggle between you two. Maybe you have a shared legacy. Maybe your spouse truly listens to his or her own heart. You also have a court guide. Maybe your court has absolute devotion towards you. Maybe they are constantly by your side. Maybe there is a draconic chain of command. Maybe there is civil war in your court. Maybe your court has good intentions. Or there is a sort of indirect rulership. Maybe you have newcomers to your court. And perhaps your court works as a penitentiary. Maybe your court is currently undergoing a regime change. You also have information how to create courtiers, exceptional courtiers, regular courtiers, problematic courtiers. You also have a courtier archetype list with useful traits, adjectives, nouns. Maybe your court is composed of many gracious people, they are gentle, or perhaps charismatic, obedient, zealous. They could be warriors, duelists, they could be maids, they could be enforcers, they could just be eye candy. Maybe they are guides, they are cooks, maybe they are troublesome, adventurous, unstable, cruel or judgmental, or maybe they are posers. There could be beginners in your court, gamblers, instigators, pushovers, harpies. Next, we have a chapter detailing Bridgewood Boulevard. This is a complete Chronicle kit for your starting campaign, and you can keep on playing this campaign, of course, although it would be a good idea that if you play too much in a single district, you could create your own districts or wait for more districts to come out officially for the setting. But with Bridgewood Boulevard, this is a complete campaign setting, and I'm going to give very little information about it because otherwise I'm going to spoil the surprises for your group. I know many players could be watching this, they are not going to participate as a game master and they want to unravel the mysteries of Bridgewood Boulevard and navigate the murky political waters of this particular district. So with this chapter you have information on how to use the boulevard itself, how to handle things before the first meeting, and after the first meeting you also have information on basic preparations and advanced preparations. You can play this as a basic or advanced experience. You have information on the city of New Hethlon, and it is within this city where the action takes place. You also have details on the commandments. There's also information on the authority, different authority figures, the archons, the executors. You also have information on the Princepsa, details on the province law, specific details concerning the lords and ladies of the boulevard. You have complete information on all of the important non-player characters here, with their distinctive features, their potential archetypes, and their secrets. You have many different sites to visit, such as the Museum of Art, Club Vice, the New Hethlon Opera House. There's also Park Avenue, the Bridgewood Revelry Center, the Metropolitan Library, the Portsby Marina Hotel, and other places of note, that is, pubs, fight clubs, hotels, restaurants. You also have information on the neighboring provinces, such as Bridgewood East Point, West Greendale University, North Bank Mill. You also have a list of links, important character concepts to play into your campaign, with non-player characters that fill out those concepts, of course. The entire chapter is extensive, quite complete, and there is a bit of room for you to introduce your own non-player characters or places of your own creation. So the setting is quite customizable, ample enough for many years of campaigns to come, but precise or specific enough to create storylines and paths that keep the main focus of the campaign right on track. They even include story arcs and side events for you to get started right away. I also like it how they present information in such a complete way that you can already plan the next season as you are finishing your first season. Of course, taking into consideration whatever happens because of the player character's actions in the first season. And specific to this boulevard, you have a holding guide with all sorts of creation cards that tie your characters directly to this self-contained campaign setting. And that's the entirety of the Defiant Role-Playing Game core rulebook. So what do I think about this amazing and sophisticated role-playing game? I think that those that are looking for a more gamey and tactical role-playing experience may not enjoy this as much as those that are looking for a highly strategic, immersive storytelling type of experience. Defiant requires a very polished mindset, quite focused on the intricacies of politics, of society within this fictional game world. You have these supernatural beings, but it's not just going to be about showing off your amazing deity-like powers. It's also about grasping the current power situation within a district and using all of the elements involved to your advantage to push forward your endeavors. Like I've said before, this is perfect for a Trupe style of game, where players are playing the part of various non-player characters in different scenes, but when it comes to their own player character, all of the attention is going to be focused on them. So you have a lot of fulfillment when it comes to switching the spotlight. You help others develop their characters in very rich and interesting ways, and when the focus is on you, everyone supports your character development as well. I think this role-playing game is also great to be used in a semi-competitive way. It's not going to work if you are just looking to win, because this is about telling a very interesting and compelling story. But if everyone gets into the spirit, you could play rivals, or perhaps even enemies within the same group, and the result is going to be a lot of amazing seasons of this series type of role-playing experience. Although for beginners, I would definitely recommend that you play on the same side, using the non-player characters as antagonists. Also, despite what I said of Trupe play, this role-playing game can also be played in more conventional ways, with a single player playing the part of their own player character and the members of their court. Although, it is quite reasonable that the game master is going to play the part of the most important non-player characters that are going to work in favor or against the player characters and their courts. So there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to what type of experience you want to have with this role-playing game. You also have a vast world with many options for all sorts of episodes and seasons, focused on politics, focused on society, focused on war. You have all of the basic information needed if you are just starting to play role-playing games. Do not feel intimidated by the scope of this role-playing game. You have all of the information here that will get you started right away. The system itself, the mechanics, are very simple once you get the hang of them. It's just about making sense of the potential and what sorts of afflictions or drawbacks could reduce your potential in a role. It's very easy to run a game. The complexity lies in character creation, making sense of it all, navigating those turbulent waters within the courts. But because of that, you have the guidebook, tons of examples, complete guide information for different aspects of the game. You have a complete campaign setting included with this rulebook. This is one of the most complete rulebooks that you're going to find. Despite of its potential to come up with expansions that introduce expert rules and additional domains and districts, everything that you need to play this role-playing game for your entire role-playing game career is contained in this rulebook. So my highest recommendation for the Defiant role-playing game. It's certainly a very mature experience. I'm sure that many groups that are looking for a refined style of role-playing with a strong focus on storytelling are going to love this game. Well, thanks for watching my review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And thank you so much to those that have been sending drive-thru RPG gift certificates to support the channel. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.